Hello and welcome back to another Masterminds video. Today we present a new show called R&D, or Research and Development, which is where we'll be designing a new model rocket or continuing on a design from a model rocket, then launching it and changing something small or big to make it better. So for this video, we'll be talking about why I want to make our new rocket the Eagle 1, why I wanted to build it, how we're going to build it. So make sure to watch to the end. We do launch it eventually, and make sure to subscribe and share the video. So why did I want to make this rocket, and what are some special things I wanted to include while designing this rocket? Well, I wanted to build this rocket a while ago, but I just didn't have the knowledge or the tools to build this rocket. I wanted to make the rocket be able to launch multiple times without having to take it apart or refurbish it like I did for the Bandits, as well as keep it similar and constant rocket so that we can do testing on stuff so that all of the other variables stay the same or constant. Then a little while later, I got a 3D printer for this exact reason, and finally, a few weeks later, we got new body tubes. These body tubes are actually the biggest body tubes we have yet, so that I measured them, but I printed my first motor mount, but it didn't fit because, first of all, I designed the rocket to have an extension where the motor mount and the fins would attach, but due to weight constraints I couldn't do that. The hole in the extension was actually smaller than the hole of the body tube, so for the print, the body tube was actually a lot bigger than the motor mount was, so sadly it didn't work. As well as, well, the motor was actually kind of bigger than expected, so it didn't fit in the hole either. So we had to print another one, but it was still too small to fit inside. It was too small for the motor to fit inside the hole. So I finally got the print, but for some odd reason, the printer didn't want to work for a while. So I kept printing and printing, it kept failing. And then finally we had a successful fit, and the motor fit perfectly. I mean, it wasn't too tight, it wasn't too loose. It just slid in, and if you want to take it out, you slide it out. It doesn't fall out on its own. But the part that was going to fit in the motor was actually into the body tube was actually too big. So just slightly too big. So I just crammed it in until it was in enough, because I didn't want to print another. That would take a lot more. That would take more filament and more time. So then next was the coupler, because one body tube wasn't big enough, so we printed a coupler to make two body tubes fit together. And luckily, on its first print, it was successful, so we can put them two together. It fit almost perfectly. And then for the fins, now this was a bit of a challenge because I needed 3 to 4 fins, and I didn't really know how to print it the first time I printed it. I printed it flat for some reason, and the closer to the ends of the printer bed, the worse the print was. It bends up. So I needed a better way to print so that, well, we didn't have that problem on the bottom, and the difference between the sides would be less apparent. So I printed it straight up. But it was too tall and not wide enough to hold that tall tower of a fin. So after many failed prints of it just falling over, well, I finally figured it out. I would print it the long side of the root. And I thought, how did I not think of this previously? So I actually made the root slightly longer and the fin slightly shorter, just for better surface area and less chances of it falling over like the last few prints. And on the very first print, it was successful, and well, it was successfully printing 3 fins, and it took like 10 hours, but still, it printed them all. And then we moved on to printing the payload bay with that can hold the altimeter or other payloads, whichever thing we decide to do. Then finally, the nose cone. We first printed it. It was a very pointy and very possibly dangerous, but we were ready to launch. We needed a new launch site because the other one was taken by people playing soccer. So we found a new and bigger field to launch at. So we went there, but it was too windy, but I needed to launch because of our deadline and there's a tropical storm coming. So we had to launch, or else if we didn't launch and prove that it was successful, then I'd have to build a whole other one, and if these things fail, then I had to print 2 whole other ones, and I don't know if we'd make the deadline. So it was pretty much a gamble to see if this rocket will launch. But anyways, I needed to launch it. So, well, we did. And then after a bit of struggling, we finally got it. We backed up. We did the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2.
No.
What? And then it just fell over. So we knew we needed a better launch pad, and it just didn't just fall over. It broke the launch pad. Then a few days later, we had a new custom, much stronger launch pad than the other one to launch from. Then that weekend, we launched it again, but this time I printed a new safer nose cone, or block 1.1, because the major block number is a major iteration, and then the decimal is small iterations, or major iteration that never launched, aka the nose cone. That was too dangerous. So anyways, we went to the launch site. The wind was pretty good with the new launch pad. Then the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Get up there.
Wow.
But where's your parachute? Poof. Come on.
Great.
Boy.
Yeah. That was kind of cool. Maybe I put too much water. No. Help.
I'm thinking all the 3D printers.
Okay. And it was successful, but it didn't perform as well as other rockets than I expected it to. Then, the next launch, we put an altimeter in, but not very good. So now, onto the launch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There we go. Kinda. Where'd it go? Check the ground.
What? First one. Okay, so we kind of lost the altimeter on this very first launch, which was really bad, and we spent the next few minutes just looking around for it, and then, well, I wanted to launch it just one more time, so now onto the launch. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job, Mom.
Hey, slowed it just a little bit. Uh-oh.
Come on. Broke it.
The impact altered the tail. Yep, we have damage.
Guess I can try getting that up. So yeah, we kind of broke the rocket and the body tube. So I had to take all the parts off, replace the body tube, put all the parts back on. So to stop this from happening again in the future, I'm designing a new Eagle 1 Block 2.0, which has an extended motor mount as well as an extended frame to help structure that, as well as the motor mount is extended for the E-motor, which is a more powerful, or at least a rocket engine that burns for longer, as well as that. Anyways, make sure to subscribe and share the video. We make 3 videos a week, so make sure to check those out. Bye.